Date.
Yeah. No, we're not.
I know. I saw the date, but are we announcing it?
Not yet. No.
Yo, did you see Buju was performing Peace World? Hold on, I just got to talk to my sister for a minute. You see Buju perform this weekend?
I was there.
Which day you went?
Sunday.
How was it?
It was dope.
Dan is on some bullshit because I went with Dan to the first joint when we left Hiphop Closet's block party July 13th.
Dan is my man. So
yeah, I feel you. I feel you. How was it though? It was lit?
It was dope. It was really good.
Yeah.
It was weird though because in the beginning we wasn't feeling the bass, so we was like, "What is happening?" Like we wasn't happy, and then all of a sudden the bass kicked in.
Damn, I should have. You know, I gotta reach out to Dan. So her husband and we all family, right? Yeah. Dano is retired, so any concert, anything that, like, all he got is time.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So I should have known y'all was going to the Buju set.
Yeah, that's why we came back on Saturday.
So that you could come on Sunday.
Yeah, we were in a suite with one of his friends.
See, you floss it now. Okay, all right.
He's in the suite.
How was? Can I tell him where you was? Because I'm going.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Zoetry.
Zoetry. Well, I'm not going to Zoetry. I'm going to Zalara. But yes, how was Zoetry?
It was great.
We doing resort reviews now.
Yes.
We hitting up spots and doing reviews.
It was great.
Nice.
We laid low. We didn't go anywhere. Like we were in the resort the whole time. We were only there for like 4 days. So we
quick run.
Yeah, quick in and out.
But it's good, man. It's good to get away to unplug.
Wow, because when we showed up, the concierge was like, "So this is not a party hotel. It ain't." Almost like he looked at us like, "Don't be coming up in here."
Don't come up with that bullshit, right?
But little did he know the staff was with the shits because
right.
they were partying. Like every bar was turned.
Right.
I mean, the crowd wasn't, but the music.
It was a lot of people at the resort?
No.
That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping when I go on Friday.
Like the only people.
Yes.
Nobody was ever in the sauna in the stadium.
Yes.
Like, we never had to wait for anything.
Yeah. So they came back from JA this past week. I'm leaving on Friday.
Oh, to go.
I'm going to Jamaica on Friday. Yeah.
Oh,
but they killed it last week. Shout to Dan. Shout to Dano.
It was great.
So a couple announcements before we get started. First, Hip Hop Closet and Good People NYC, we're throwing a holiday party on Saturday, December 7th from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. We're going to be doing our thing with Rustic. Shout out to France. Shout out to the staff at Rustic. We're going to be at Rustic at the Navy Yard. So that's at 141 Flushing Avenue in this building 77.
In the lobby.
In the lobby from 5 to 10, music by Goldfinger. So we taking it back and doing it the right way. So you'll see the flyer soon. But if you on this and you want to rock with us, Saturday, December 7th from 5 to 10, we're going to do it. All right.
And it's the same day as the holiday market. So
yes.
Come shop
right.
And then take the shuttle over
and it's seamless. And it's seamless. Shout out to Urilla because Urilla's doing another. Yo, Kata, I Love Black Men in Real Life. That shit was popping.
Really?
No. I think
you sound like me now.
I saw the pictures afterwards.
Yeah, that shit was popping. Shout out to Urilla. So Urilla's doing a brunch that same day at 333 Lounge. So if you want to mix and mingle, you want to be mixy on Saturday, December 7th, you hit the brunch, you hit the market, then you hit the after party.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Outside. Get dressed early.
Right. Get dressed early. Get childcare, right? Get your kids in order and then come out and play.
Yeah, because we're at the end of the year. And after the 7th,
it's a wrap. It's Christmas.
Yeah.
It's Christmas.
Everything
it's Kwanzaa after that Kwanzaa crawl.
Tell Kofi, what's up? He's checking in from St. Kitts.
Yeah, that's what I meant to tell you. Jason Wallace, he runs with no name.
Mess,
yes. My guy. Yeah, so he's our normal cameraman. But he's on a cruise right now. Again, like I told you, our team, we do resort reviews. We be out a lot.
What up,
he's
Mess?
On a cruise right now.
Yeah, I've been doing Mess for years.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, he trained with us. He trained with us at the Domain program. 16 weeks. He was there.
So one of those training days, I was running down Bedford. Y'all was coming up Bedford. And I saw him. And I screamed at him like, yo, you running too slow. And everybody in the group, they didn't like that. And I was just, because I chid him. Like, I be giving him the business.
With him.
I was just messing with him. I wasn't talking to the whole group.
Yeah.
But I was like, yo, you running too goddamn slow. And everybody was like,
you almost got jumped.
Yeah. Like, yo, don't do that. Like, don't do that, right? All right. So, those of you who follow us, those of you who follow me, those of you who follow Mesh, you know that we run, right? And I've been running. I just was telling Coffee, I've been running since like 05, 06. I started on a treadmill, and then shout to Pat Burnett, peace be upon his name. That was my guy. And he kind of got me into really, really running and the lifestyle and the culture of being in the running community. And, you know, I've paid my dues. I'm a 3-time marathon finisher. You know, I've done tons of halves, tons of 10Ks. You know, I've run the city. What I will say is that the running community is a tight knit community. Yeah. We vibe together, right? You know, we work through the things that we go through together. And if you're a runner, and if I see you while I'm running, you're always my guy, right? Yeah. Like, that's just what it is. Like, if I see you on a trail, if I see you crossing the Queensboro Bridge, if I see you up First Avenue, if I see you in Central Park, if we did a race together and I gave you a head nod, when I see you in the community, you're my guy. Because I know that you know what some of the things that I go through, right? Yeah. And so that's kind of like me and you. Like, I can't remember when the first time I saw you, but I remember recognizing you as part of the running community. And, you know, over the last 5 years, my running story has been kind of tough because I've had injuries. I've had deaths. Pat, like I said, my running mentor died in 2021. Yeah. And that kind of hit me in a funny way. And so I've been kind of disjointed and kind of trying to get back to where I was. Okay. And you and I've had that conversation. I saw you one time in the street and we had this conversation. Yep. So even though, like, you know, we're not close, but like, I consider you a friend. You one of the tribe, right? You do this, right? And so because you understand this, you do this, me and you are cool. But you've really elevated in this game, and you've really put your name on the map, put the No Name program on the map, and you've galvanized. This year has been an amazing year, right? Yeah. And so I just wanted to sit with you, and I wanted to go through your background, go through your story, because I did my homework on you, and I see that you've done things like this is Hip Hop Closet. So Conversations at Hip Hop Closet is always about people who come out of the culture and then contribute, right? Yeah. People who come out of the culture and contribute. And so when I did my homework, I realized that you come out of the culture.
Oh, I appreciate
and that. You contribute. Yeah. So I had to get you on here. And so we're going to have that conversation now for y'all. I want to introduce to some and present to others my brother Coffee. Right?
Good.
What's good?
I appreciate it, man.
Indeed. So I couldn't run this year because my finger. I broke my finger at Labor Day. And now she laughing because she laughed when it happened. So now I have a tear in my tendon. So I'm going to have surgery on my hand.
Oh, you can't even straighten it.
I can't straighten it. But look, I ran 2 miles the other day. Yeah. So I went to my therapist today. So Kyle went to my therapist and he was like, yo, you got to stop running because I had what's called edema. Like I had water in my finger. So I thought that I could get away and run a couple miles.
But they was able to tell.
Yes. And he said I had pitting edema. Like he squeezed my finger and the shit, like he worked on my finger for like an hour today to get the fluid out of my finger.
Oh, wow.
Because the way it's messed up when you run, blood flow increases, right? Yeah, fluid increases. But because my finger's messed up, it's not releasing it. So it gets swollen. I ran the Bronx 10 miler. Oh. I ran the Bronx 10 with this. And I had to take the splint off because my finger was throbbing in the splint. That's when I knew, when I went back to my doctor, that's when my doctor was like, yo, you got to chill out on running. That's why I didn't run a marathon this year. I was supposed to run a marathon this year.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Damn, I'm sorry to hear that. I didn't even know that. This is the first time I've ever seen that.
Yeah, I've been waving it around the whole time. Yeah. Yeah, this is some shit, B. I'll tell you offline how it happened. But this is not about me, it's about you. Tell me where you from. Where are you from, dog? Because you're originally from
New
here.
York.
Right.
Nah. A lot of people think I am. Until I start talking, they can still hear some of the country words that's within me. I'm from a town called Aurora, North Carolina.
Okay.
Born and raised. Happy that I'm from there. The population there is 500. Wow. Still dirt roads.
What?
Yeah, man.
Where is it in North Carolina? Is it in the north or in the south?
It's on the east. So it's like, so it's like, it's more like southeast. Kind of like, you ever heard of Greenville, East Carolina University?
Yeah, east, yeah.
So it's like 45 minutes away from
ECU.
Yeah,
they had a baller,
exactly.
Blake
Edwards.
Blake Edwards, right? Yeah, exactly. Had a baller that ball for ECU.
Yeah. So 45 minutes away from there. That's about the closest that I could get people. Some people know a Little Washington, but not Washington D.C., but Little Washington, North Carolina. But the majority does know Greenville, which is ECU.
Yeah, I have on my father's side, my grandmother had land. She was from Eden,
North Carolina. Yes,
yeah, she was from Eden.
Yeah,
dirt roads, same low population. So I get it. Yeah.
No stoplights. Yeah, stop signs.
Tell me about growing up there.
It was cool, man. Like, so I'm in the woods. I'm a backwoods guy, so that's why I'm not afraid of roaches and mice and none of that stuff. Right. I came up with snakes and bears. You know what I'm saying? So coming up, climbing trees, having my backyard, my grandparents' backyard was like a football field. Right. So
that's what it is down south. Yeah. Big backyards, right? Yep. Land.
Playing basketball all day. And that's what I thrived into, playing basketball. And I had a great aunt. I had one relative here in New York. And my aunt used to bring me up here, which was her aunt, happened to be my great aunt. Well, put it this way. My mother's sister used to bring me up here for the summer, me and her daughter. And she lived in Cambria Heights, Queens.
Wow, okay.
So I used to visit that block all the time, every summer. And then that's how I got into PAL.
Yeah, Police Athletic.
Yep. And one of my coach was Herman Turner, and he was a very well recognizable coach. I didn't know that, but he was very.
Because you're just up here for the summer.
I'm just up here for the summer, and he has a team, and he took a like in my game. It was like, my nickname was KCJ. That's what they called me. So KCJ, come with us. Come play with me on Springfield Boulevard. So, damn, I'm shocked I even remember that. Yeah, Springfield Boulevard. So I used to go play there, and I start realizing, wait, these kids my age, we're like 10, 11 years old when I first started playing PL here in New York. But when we went home, they didn't have to ask, where could they go to the corner because there's a bodega store, corner store, or the park is right across the street. But when I went home, wherever I wanted to go, I had to be like, yo, Marlon, can you give me a ride? Right. Or Mom, Dad, can I go?
Right. You can't leave from where you at.
I can't leave. Right. Because it's just roads and everything is a distance away. It's a mile or 2 or 3 miles. Like, we didn't have no McDonald's. We had one grocery store and a mini mart. And that's it. Right. So I started admiring that. And then when I got on the train, man, for the first time, I fell in love. Right. Like, I was like, whoa. This is it. This is different. Yeah. And then when I saw the graffiti, I was like, oh, it was a wrap then. Right. So I kind of already knew that it was going to be New York for me.
I was going to ask you, when you was that age, when you was a kid, how old are you now?
I'm 45.
Okay, so you like 4 years younger than me, but that you're still in that framework that when you were a kid, hip hop was kind of on the rise. So how did you digest hip hop in Aurora?
Oh, man. So that's easy because my brother is older than me. So we knew about the Coliseum. So we knew about Mr. Lee.
Right, because y'all was coming to Queens. So you have family in Queens.
So we knew about jump on the Q4 bus. This was even before the Dollar Band had came because we was kids. But he was older and his friends on the block, like Boogie, Smiley, like we all became tight. So they showed us how to get to Jamaica Avenue. And we never seen anything like that. Like what? Like clothing stores, people getting different haircuts, like they called it, back in the day, y'all called it shadows. Like the fades in the side and making designs. And we was like, whoa, the gold fronts, like it was heaven for us. And then we go inside the Coliseum and here's this place called Mr. Lee, this guy named Mr. Lee, Asian guy, but he had gold fronts and he had mixtapes. Mixtapes was like Ron G,
right?
DJ SNS,
right?
And we was like, whoa, hold up,
right?
How much? Buy the tape, put the tape in the, of course, the box, the boom box, and then go back to North Carolina with the tape. And now,
because you're a purveyor of hip hop, you're bringing culture down to North Carolina, right?
And now we become the people. You know how when back then, I forget how you had to do it back then, but we did it. We figured it out. You could double tape,
right? Yeah.
And I can't remember how we would double it.
You had the dual tape deck. You stick the shit in it so that you could record on it, and you record.
So many people used to come over
just to record.
And my brother,
y'all was popping in North Carolina.
My brother was like, That's $2.50.
Right, get the money. Right.
You want to judge this tape? That's $2.50.
Right.
And we start seeing older people like cats in high school. Mm-hmm. They was coming through doing the same thing, and I'm listening, I'm looking, and I'm like, yo, this is crazy.
Right.
Like, but I'm still a little kid. Like, that's funny. Oh, he got that from us. Like, they got those.
Right. They got those tapes from us. Right.
And then we just start hearing the different artists, man. Like, to me back then, Large Professor. Mm-hmm. I'm just hanging out. That song along with Pete Rock and CL Smooth, The Reminisce Over You, that's what took me to a whole like different level of listening to music. And then obviously that made me rewind a little bit to LL Cool J.
Right.
So now I look at LL totally different,
right,
because it made me rewind to I Can't Live Without My Radio, and then made me go back and watch Crush Groove, and and Style Wars and all that stuff. I didn't know any of that stuff existed, but I went back and started watching anything that had anything to do with hip hop. And back then we had a radio station called Kiss 102
down in Aurora.
And the only hip hop that they got close to at the time was West Coast. I heard I knew of NWA,
Eazy-E, Ice Cube. Right.
Ice Cube. I knew of all them. Diddy, is it Diddy? Ditto? It was, his song was pretty dope. I think, no, it was Ditto. He had a song named Diddy. And the song was dope, but it was like for them to crip walk too. I didn't know anything about that back then. Right. But we always heard West Coast. But when we came here, that's when the lyrics got faster, and that's when I was like, "Oh, this is what I'm in love with." And when Wu-Tang came out, man, forget about it.
Right,
like it was a wrap.
It was a wrap. Right.
It was over when I saw Old Dirty Bastard, and then and Method Man had the different voice that a lot of people drawn to, and then next thing you know, as a kid, one thing I know you never invited me to your block party, but I did get invited to North Carolina A&T homecoming, so. I got invited to their block parties when I was in high school. Right. So when I miss out on your block parties,
how far was NCA&T from you?
4 or 5 hours.
Okay, so that's a drive.
Oh, it's a drive. But now it's 3.5 because of the highways. Like they don't.
That's crazy. So that's like, crazy that we're talking to somebody from our generation.
It's like it was a
highway, right?
Yeah, like they don't condense the highways where it's
so you know what's wild with me and you, because you used to come up to New York for the summers. Yeah. And when I was a kid, I used to go down to Portsmouth, Virginia. For the
Portsmouth,
summer. Yeah.
Chesapeake Bay
so that's
Bridge.
where my family's from. Chesapeake Bay Bridge.
Yes.
Right. So I used to go down to Portsmouth. And when I used to go to Portsmouth, like literally my cousin and all his boys would like interrogate me on hip hop. Like they would be like, and I would, bring tapes, right? I would bring tapes down, and they would be like, yo, who's Big Daddy Kane? Like, who's Kool Moe Dee? Like, Rhyme, tell me one of their songs. Like, it would really be intense because they had a yearning for hip hop. Yeah. And for me, it was like, I'm like, y'all don't know this shit? Like, I took it for granted.
Yeah.
But they were enamored. When I used to come down, the girls, everybody, the whole block would come like, oh, my New York cousins is here for the summer. Yeah. And me and my other cousins, shout out to Naisha, Nico, Lisa, Keisha, Monique, all my girl cousins and me would go down to Portsmouth for the summer. And we were bringing hip hop to Portsmouth. And everybody we used to throw parties like in the front yard.
Well, y'all was like, y'all was the shit.
We was a shit.
Because anybody from New York, see, back then, I talk about this sometimes now, back then, you didn't have to say anything to know that somebody was from New York.
Right.
Y'all had the lingo, y'all had the style and grace. Anytime you talk, it was like, yo, dog, yo, B, yo, son, yo, what up, kid? Like, it was like, it wasn't like now everybody saying bro.
Right.
And I'm like, that's not New York for me. Like, New York was always different when it came to everything, from a dress code to the way they walk to the way they talk.
Right.
And now it's like everybody is, you could be from.
It's homogenized because that's the digital era. And social media got shit.
And that's where I'm like, I don't want to say that's where I get pissed off at, but that is, I'm going to contradict myself. That's kind of where I get pissed off at because I always felt New York was here and everybody else was here. And I'm okay with being everybody else because I was here. Right. But I knew when I came here, I learned
you
something.
would be there, right?
And I would be there. You know what I'm saying? And what Rakim said, it ain't where you from, it's where you
at. Right.
And that's what I always believe. So now that I'm here.
That's real hip hop.
Yeah, and now that I'm here, I'm like, oh, it's like going down. Like when I came to New York, man, as a kid, if you had on an Adidas tracksuit, you had on Adidas shell toes.
Yeah, you're right.
You didn't have on an Adidas tracksuit
with Nikes
and Under Armour sweats, and I'm like, oh no, new kids, come on, like y'all killing it right now. Like even in the '80s, from the Kangos to the Gazelles, like it was New York cats was always women and men, because I remember the women with the Reeboks,
5411,
the 54, yo.
7 and girls.
DMX, and they cost $54.99.
They took $49.99 plus tax, $54.11.
Right. We're trying to squeeze.
Right, squeeze it. Right.
Yeah. So I remember, like, the style was different, and I even remember with the girls from New York, y'all ate a lot of candy. Y'all ate a lot of candy. It was like you could tell, like they got on the 5411s, and they always had Skittles, bags of Skittles. Like Ghostface always had that. Like, Ghostface talks about that in his songs, and I'm like, so whenever I hear that song, I'm like, yo, I remember that.
Right.
Like I do remember that. Like,
yo, you know what's crazy, bro? When I used to go down to Portsmouth, the thing that I discovered down there was biker shorts. So before biker shorts was popping up here, maybe before I noticed it, the chicks in Portsmouth had the biker I was like, yo, y'all really rocking out here. So it's funny that you say that, because when I was coming down to Virginia, I was picking up shit like, oh, okay, this is how y'all rock, right?
Yeah. I mean, they had, what people would call it back then.
And like, the French rolls.
The French rolls.
Chicks had with the socks in the French rolls.
But whenever I would come up here, I would always hear, what country bucket style y'all got?
Right, yeah, shitting on y'all, right.
Saying? Like, and then when y'all ended with, you know what I'm saying, son? It was over. We couldn't come back to that because we didn't have no sling.
So when you was in high school out there, what did you want to be when you grew up?
I was heavy in basketball.
So you played for your high school?
Oh, yeah. I played for high school, played in college.
Where'd you go to college?
Virginia Union.
Oh, you went to Virginia Union?
Yeah, I went there. I ended up at VU.
Oh, I got to have a conversation with you about that then.
I ended up at VU.
Right.
But the intent was so Tennessee was there. And my brother had played at University of Minnesota.
He played University of Minnesota.
And that's when Clem Haskins was the coach there.
Right.
And,
right.
And, my condolences to Clem. His son just literally passed away.
Brett
Haskins. Yeah.
Word?
And he was a NBA scout for the Cleveland Cavaliers, like literally right now. But he just passed away a couple of days. But Clem Haskins was the coach. So I used to go from New York, PAL, because PAL was a great lesson to me. And that's how I learned how to dribble. You know what I'm saying? Like in North Carolina, you get the L form, and then you shoot, make, defense was first.
Right.
Offense came second. Right. Defense wins championships. Offense only wins games. Right. That's how we was taught.
Right.
But anyway, what I'm getting to is that PAL, me going back, I grew every time I came here and got better.
You got better with your handles.
And then
New York
ended
is
up
about the handles.
About the handles.
Right.
So then I end up in North Carolina time. Back then, I was this tall point guard when people was looking at me as a small forward. But no, I was handling the rock. So then I started going to High Potential Week in Minnesota under Clem Haskins. And
while your brother was up there.
While my brother was up there. And now you starting to see all these scouts. And they start coming. And then you start getting these letters. And then that's why I had the Tennessee visit. That's why I had the UVA visit. But me didn't really care too much about school. And we had a thing called, I don't know if y'all had it up here, but we had a thing called SAT.
Yeah, SAT.
Yeah, so we had to take the SAT. Yeah. I didn't take that.
He said, "Yo, I don't know if y'all had it up here." But we had it up here.
But I didn't take the SAT. I took the CAT.
You didn't take the SAT?
I took the CAT thinking the California Achievement Test.
Okay.
Oh, that's something great for Cali.
Yeah. So,
why would you take the California?
Well, because it was required in the South.
Oh.
Yeah, it was required in the South. So we had to take the CAT and the SAT.
Right.
So when it was time for me to go take the SAT, I wish I never did this. I lied to my mom. I act like I went, and instead I went somewhere else.
Where'd you go?
To a hotel.
To a hotel. So you lied to your mom. You told your mom she was going to take the SAT, and instead you was in the cut.
And the reason why was because back then, at that time, a lot of kids that was coming out of high school, coaches were hooking them up. You know what I'm saying? And then it just so happened that the year before that, coaches start getting caught the year after by allowing someone to play that didn't take the SAT. Right. And I got caught in that cycle. So now if I go to Tennessee or if I go to UVA or even Minnesota, then I had to sit out for 2 years.
Right.
You know, Anthony Hardaway, he had to do that.
Yeah. Right.
He had to do that exact same thing for Memphis. Right. Now I'm no Anthony Hardaway. He wasn't even on that level. But that was the whole purpose of me like going to VUU. And then even when I got there, I got in an accident. So that sat me out.
What kind of accident?
Car accident.
A car accident.
I was the passenger. And that sat me out with my injuries. And
what was injured?
My leg, which I never think I would be able to run again. But it wasn't like it. No,
what happened? You broke your leg?
Wasn't broken. They was talking on like for whatever reason, Marlon, my leg kept going numb. And
nerve damage.
It was nerve damage. But now, knock on wood, thank God, it has not happened since I have become older and since I start back like strength training with my legs and since I've been running. Right. Because it's something that hits me a lot when I run. Like, please don't let.
Right. Don't numb.
Because when it goes numb, it's nothing you can do. Like, but fall.
Yeah, and I got sciatica, so I deal with that.
Oh,
on my right side, like yeah. But it's for me. The more I run, it like goes away. Yeah, it's like when I sit, and then I stand up, like I feel that nerve thing. Yeah, but it goes away as I move.
Yeah. Well, no, that was the thing I was afraid of, but I still play ball. Like I haven't played in a couple of years now, but when I moved to New York, I got back into it. Could have easily went overseas.
So you played at Virginia Union?
Played at Virginia Union for probably a half a season.
That's it?
That was it. That was it. And that was at the tail end. You know who came to talk? Ben Wallace.
Yeah, because Ben went to VUU.
Ben Wallace, Charles Oakley, it was this other guy, Terry Davis.
Terry Davis.
They were, and I got to know Ben very well back then, and saw Ben leave, saw Ben go to Washington Bullets. So that was like, okay. Ben also was practicing under Chris Webber and Rasheed Wallace. So he became a beast by practicing and waiting for his time. And then he goes to Detroit
and goes crazy.
Right. So I'm like, okay, I got something. I can go to Union. What is? Nah, God had something else planned for me.
But the environment in Union. So when you said you went to Virginia Union, that's why I got excited because I've been to Virginia Union for my brother Jelani used to go to Virginia Union.
Oh, really?
So like
Malik went to Virginia Union.
Malik went to Virginia Union. Dano, what up, Dano?
What's up, man?
So Virginia Union was popping.
It was popping to a certain extent. Right. Like we was hated on because of, the locals.
Because you was from down.
Because I wasn't from.
Was thriving.
Dog, like if you wasn't from Virginia, the locals of Richmond, Virginia, was hating on you. And when I was there, the capital of murder was Richmond, Virginia. Right. So you had to be extremely careful, especially if they found out that you was from VUU. So I used to hang out at VUU, but also at VCU, Virginia Commonwealth, which is right across North Lombardy. Right. You know what I'm saying? So I was back and forth to both. And then University of Richmond every now and then, depending on who DJ. You know who used to DJ down there a lot? Who? Bismarcky.
Yeah, of course, because he lived in the DMV area.
So, see, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, he lived there.
I just know that he was always at Virginia Commonwealth. And that's why I was like, I got to go there. Because I remember listening to Nobody Beats the Biz, 1 2, or 1 2. Like, I remember those
days.
So
Biz as a DJ was legendary.
Yes.
Biz as a DJ was legendary.
Yes. Yeah. And then going there, I was like, okay, this is how I can stay affiliated with, hip hop. And then Biz was doing, playing everybody else's records. And then when he played his, he would do it live. And everybody was just like dumbfounded, like, what? Right. Like, wait, he used to be a rapper? I knew he was a rapper. Right. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of cats back then.
Yeah, he reinvented himself as a DJ. Yeah. And that's funny you said that because, a lot of people probably didn't even realize when they were listening to Biz the DJ that he was a rapper.
He was a rapper. Like, I had his whole album, man. Like, I had everybody album from the 80s that you can think of up till 2000s. Because now I can't listen to it. Even when they say now who's the best, Kendrick Lamar, Drake, or J. Cole, you gotta think Kendrick Lamar, Drake, and J. Cole is still from 2009. Right. So they still 2000s. Right. And they really, they
really early 2010s, right? 2009, right?
Because they all got the freshman cover, right? Except the only one that didn't do our freshman cover at Double XL was Drake, and then he got the cover next with Nicki Minaj. You know what I'm saying? So they all, Kendrick and J. Cole, all did the freshman cover because we was in charge of that,
right?
So that's why I was like, oh man, like the artists now, and this is no disrespect to them, I just don't know what they're saying. You know what I'm saying? Like I saw something that Eric Sermon was saying the other day, where he was like, look, all y'all artists today, he wasn't trying to be a hater. He was just saying, will you have anything in your catalog where you still could perform 20, 30, 40 years from now?
Yeah, we talk about that here, forever music.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and I started thinking about that. Was like, oh, that will be a small to none.
It's very small
ratio,
right? Like Special Ed could perform "I Got It Made" right now,
yes,
and rock,
yes,
forever music,
yeah. Of
these cats, who's gonna be?
It's gonna be hard. It's gonna have to be
not like us. So not like us will rock.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It would be hard for Kendrick, J. Cole, or Drake,
right? But everybody
any
else.
Other artists, who?
So you leave Virginia? Did you graduate?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay, so you graduate. What's your degree?
My mom wasn't gonna let that slide by.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like for me, high school. So high school was for me to make sure that I had the confidence to graduate.
Right.
College was for my parents and my grandparents, because I know for a fact they wanted their kid to go to college and try to become something. So once I graduated and I knew it wasn't basketball, then it was between New York and LA. I was having a kid, and the mother was from Brooklyn. I'm going to New York. You
won the lottery.
Yeah, because I mean, I was just like, I'm not going to LA. Like I'm gonna be.
So you met your baby mother at Virginia Union.
Yes.
Yeah, and she was from Brooklyn.
She was from Brooklyn.
Right.
And then I came here, and then she left and went back to get her degree or whatnot. So I ended up raising my son.
Right.
I was like, nah, I'm here. Like I'm nobody else raising my son. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I raised my kid, and he literally was raised inside of Double XL because I didn't have.
That's what I'm saying. Right.
I didn't have the money to childcare.
Right.
So I would literally bring him to the office with me every day.
Now, how did you so you come to New York after Virginia Union.
Yeah.
How did you get on with Double XL?
So I started modeling. Like my homeboy, who I told you was on the block, Smiley.
Right.
He was on the block. And while he was on the block, he was kind of like trying to get his foot, because he went to University of Houston, Texas. Then he moved back to New York. So he was already interning at the Source. And
this is your man from when you grew up, when you used to come to New York.
Who was on 218th Street,
right.
Cambria Heights.
Exactly, right.
So he was already like getting his foot in the door.
Right.
And once he was getting his foot wet, then rest in peace, 9/11 happened. And I had already been booked by Double XL, Source, and Bob as a model. But
you see, Kai, he was modeling while I was modeling. You see that, right?
Yeah.
He was Double XL. I was Hiphop Closet. You see?
Yeah.
You see what I mean? Yeah. But all right.
So in going there, I started realizing, wait, this isn't the same person isn't here. So I started asking questions, and Joanne, who Smiley was working on at the Source, she was the fashion editor at Double XL, but she was from San Fran. When 9/11 occurred, she couldn't take it no more, so she went back. And then that's where the doors was open, and Smiley was there by himself.
Right.
So Smiley knew me. I started asking questions. Passed the test with a lady by the name of Paula Renfro. She was a lifestyle editor.
Yeah,
Thank
Paula
God for
Renfro,
her. Yeah. So she was my lifestyle. She gave me the test. Passed the test.
What was the test?
You got every brand that's sending the fashion editor all their clothes, because all they want to do is be in the mag.
Right.
Because this one top that says Brooklyn Tech, if it makes it in the magazine, as hot as the mag was at the time,
thousands.
It was selling like hotcakes.
Right.
So I got shitload of clothes in front of me, sneakers, socks, everything from head to toe. Go in and put 6 outfits together.
Oh, so you had to put outfits together.
And let me see, and she wanted to see the difference in how I make each individual look. Oh, that's nothing to me. I mean, if I can dress, then, and it's not, I really don't believe you have to go to a fashion school. You either got it
or you don't.
Right. Like point blank period.
Right.
So I aced the test. And once I aced the test, I was in. And now I'm with behind the scenes as opposed to having to worry about being cast. Now I'm the person.
So now you're not a model no more. You are now fashion editor.
I'm now fashion assistant at first. That became fashion editor because it took, they wasn't going to just give me that title at first,
right.
But then I worked my way through it and I didn't want nobody to help me.
Right.
As soon as I came to New York, man, I used to jump on the trains, didn't know where I was going. But I would take it from the beginning and get on wherever. Like my first day on Nostrand on Madison between Nostrand and Marcy. I would go take the A train both ways to the last stop. And then I would get off wherever and just start walking around so I can try to learn these spaces. I didn't want nobody to take me anywhere. I was willing to learn on my own. And that's the same thing that I took to Double XL. Like I'm willing to learn on my own. You got to remember back then, this is when business cards was shit. That business card would get you in the door. You know what I'm saying? And I had to get these business cards from Smiley, who was already there. He was assistant Joanne, and then call these people, go sit with these people, go to their showrooms, get to know them. And then me and Smiley became like the shit.
What's some of the brands you was working on at the time?
Oh, man. Every urban brand you can think of, from Academics to a Nietzsche to Mecca.
Shout out to Tony.
Tony Shelf.
Right.
So the Tony
That's my guy.
Yeah, me and Tony are tight, man. Like Tony started Mecca. Tony was with Mecca.
Tony started Mecca and then he had a Nietzsche, right?
Like a lot of people, I was just like, yo, Tone. He was like, yo, Coffee Man. Like, he's always he run marathons.
Yeah, he do. I know. Yeah,
he started running with me when I was at Nike.
So Tony used to live in Clinton Hill. Tony used to live on Waverly and Gates.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he used to live in Clinton Hill.
No, he's in Jersey now.
He's in Jersey now.
Kids,
right. Yes.
But
he used to live in Clinton Hill.
So all those brands, man, Fat Farm, Echo, and then Carl Kanai, and then from the higher ends, I got a good story for you, from Gucci to Louis Vuitton and all that. But the story of that is, do you remember when Air Force Ones, when we start patching the swoosh with the Gucci and the Louis Vuitton?
Yes. Right.
So we start putting that in the mag.
Uh-huh.
And once we start putting it in the mag on the models and then showcasing it in the sneaker story, we got a letter.
From Louis.
Like,
yo, chill out.
Louis let it be known that they can care less
about
what we doing.
Right.
But if we don't stop,
right,
then something might go down.
Right. Like, yeah, relax.
So me and Smiley was like,
right. God know about the cease and desist.
So me and Smiley was like, oh, we kind of helping them out for free. But okay, we'll stop. Like it's all good, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're putting your brand, it's becoming more hip hop than what it has ever been before.
We're putting you in the culture. We're placing you in the center of the culture.
They didn't care.
On an Air Force One.
Oh, they did not.
They don't understand.
They sent us that letter.
But now they understand, because now they do whole Air Force One partnerships. Now, they understand. They get it now.
They get it now.
Yeah, they get it now.
But back then they didn't, So we was like, all right. And we knew, like, I knew for a fact that I was changing game, right? Like, in a magazine, at the mag will come out 3 months before. So, like, say we in November now. So if a mag came out today, it was saying the double issue, January, February. You know what I'm saying? Because every item that's in there will be coming out to that time, and you save money. So when I start realizing, this is when I knew that I was doing something over there. Start realizing I would get on the train and I would see cats head to toe, same outfit that I put on the model in the magazine. And then they had, which you're probably very familiar with this as well, they had the Magic Show. Magic and Project in Vegas every February, every September. So I'll have to go there.
Right.
And when I go, I didn't have to book no appointments. These brands was trying their best to book appointments with me.
Right.
Because they wanted to be in the mag.
Right.
To the point where I stopped booking with anybody. It was like, nah, I can't. Like, they would hit me. Can you do 110? And I was like, no. If I see you, I see you, because this meeting will always overgo. And then I would be late to this one, be late to that one. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to just walk around. And if I like your booth, remember, there was booth competitions.
Right.
You know, if your booth looked good, that means that you was up to something. So I would just go and go into these different booths. And then I would see people inside. And then it all depends on what they have. Like, I really, truly believe more in the mom and pop shop brands than the larger brands.
Right.
Because those type of brands, to me, was sick. They just didn't have the backing.
Right.
So what I would do would take something of theirs that I like and put it in with something that was advertising. And then, therefore, I didn't have to worry about the publisher trying to get upset with me because I put somebody in there that wasn't advertising.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And
so
then
you mix and match.
I'm mix and matching everything.
A small business that's doing a thing with like an established brand.
Trying to give my whole thing there was trying to give somebody an opportunity.
Right.
Because if they taking their time out to create this crew neck or these sweats or this hat, this accessory, you know what I'm saying? Then that means that they're doing something and they don't have the same backing as your Jordan brand or as your Nike or as your Academics or your Mecca. They don't know the right people. They didn't shake the right hand.
Right.
So here I am. I can help them.
Right.
And especially, man, especially if they was us. Like that, I firmly believe in that because, you got to understand, man, I saw a lot of shit.
Right.
Like I was coherent 24/7, still never drink, still never smoke because I had a son to take care of. Right. So the partying, I would go to parties, water. Right. Water, juice, water.
You better than me.
No, not
because I turn water to wine.
I was there from 01 to 11. So
you was there for 10 years.
Yeah, I was there for 10 years. Saw it all. You know what I'm saying? Like, and and I saw when our book was like that. And if you open it too fast, you can rip the paper to when our book became there. It didn't matter how hard you turn the page, it's not going to rip. The money got bigger and bigger and bigger. Right. It got good. And if
Harris Publications was moving.
Hell yeah, we was moving, man. We had Double XL, we had King, we had Slam magazine. A lot of people didn't know that. But then Slam did get bought out by someone, but Harris still kept it there at the office. We had Antenna. They tried to start a magazine called Fragro.
Sean, when he was here last week, he was talking about it was a car magazine.
Yes.
That they started.
Yeah. Daytron. Daytron started it. Oh my God, I can't remember what the name of it is. But yeah, that was even a very successful, cause we had 2 floors. We had the 8th and the 7th floor. Well, 7th and 8th. I could say 8th cause I was on the 8th floor. But we had the 7th and 8th floor. Harris Publications had 100-something magazines. A lot of people didn't know. At one point. Do you know what the number 1 selling magazine was at Harris Publications? Dog News.
Dog News? Dog, D-O-G?
D-O-G.
Yeah, I can see that.
But Double XL became larger than life. And then we became the number 1 book over every magazine that you can think of. Didn't matter Glamour, didn't matter how big, whatever magazine you want, GQ. Right. We became the shit for a long time. Right. And it was the Dr. Dre, Eminem, and 50 cover. Right. That did it for us. Right. And that's when we took off. And once we took off, the money was flowing like that for a long time. I no longer had to go to the publisher or the associate publisher to tell them what my plan was for the fashion story. It was whatever you want to do. That's what it became.
And you was good.
Oh, we was good.
Yo, y'all got my book reviewed in Double XL. Who did that? Was it Daniel? Somebody did that. But my book, Blowing Down in 09, was reviewed in Double XL. Yeah. And that shit helped out a lot.
OSC Paper Chaser said rides.
Sean.
Rides.
Sean, tell yo, that's Sean. What up, yo? Oh, you had him up here?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, Sean, yeah, yo.
You the last one. We had everybody up here.
See how I'm getting no invites? I'm the last one, see?
Now look, why you at Double XL? Where you living? You living in Bed-Stuy? You living on Madison?
Yeah. So I'm living in at that time, that was still kind of, but I loved it though. Right. Because I was like, my great aunt was like, KCJ, no, you're going to live with me when you move up here. And I'm like, no, Aunt Anime. Like,
she wanted to live in Queens.
She wanted me to live in Queens because, she knew I was the only relative she had. She couldn't allow anything to happen to me. You know what I'm saying? Right. And then I was like, yeah, but Boogie from the block, which was 2 doors away from her house, the Riddicks, like, I want to live with him, which he let me live there. Yeah, right. And I was like, okay. She was like, okay, cool. She was a doctor. So she worked at Brooklyn Hospital, Methodist, and Kings County.
Oh, so she worked in Brooklyn.
Oh, yeah. So she worked in Brooklyn, but lived in Queens. So every Tuesday, regardless of where I was at, Double XL, wherever, I had to go to Brooklyn Hospital in DeKalb and check in. If I didn't, I would be in trouble.
You'd be in trouble.
You know what I'm saying? And I respected that because the first week that I got here, she took me to the hospital. She told the doctors, hey, give me a moment with my nephew. I never forget that. She pulled the sheets back, and there was an 18-year-old boy who was shot up. And she deliberately told me, "I do not want this to be you.
Damn.
So you better watch." Like because she knew, like she me coming in, was, right? I'm a young black man,
right?
Coming in. She didn't know if I'm coming here for the wrong or right thing.
Right.
All she knows is that I graduated, and she had a lot to do with that as well. And she didn't want me to come up here and get it twisted and get caught up.
So she trying to like scare you straight.
Scare me straight, like in a great way.
Right.
But let me show him how dangerous or how hardcore New York really is. And I was thankful for that. But at the same time, I was afraid to tell her that I have a son.
Right.
Because the baby mama was from Brooklyn too.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So you didn't tell your aunt you had a son?
At that time, nah, yo. Because it wasn't that she was strict. It was the respect that I had for her. Because I knew that if I were told, that would have broke her heart. Because she would have thought that whatever I went to school
So did you tell her?
Yeah. She fell in love like that.
Of course she did.
Like because she knew
her blood.
Yeah, because she figured it out like right then and there. Especially when I start modeling, she started seeing me like in the magazines or on billboards. Like I was on the billboards in Harlem and all that stuff. And she knew, okay, maybe my nephew do have a head on his shoulder somehow, some way. And then it was like, okay, cool. And then once I got that job, she felt even better. And then that's when, I end up being at Double XL. Me and my son's mother separated because she moved back to Richmond to go to school.
Right.
And I'm taking.
So now you raising your son.
Now I'm raising my son.
Right.
And while I was raising him, that's when she was like, she never seen this before, and she wanted to pay for daycare.
Right.
I was like, nah, I don't want you to do that.
Right.
Like, because her duty was she wanted, since I didn't stay with her, check in with her on Tuesdays, and I better not say no to her buying me groceries. You know where Atlanta Center Mall is at now?
Yes.
Remember that was it? It wasn't a food line; it was a grocery store.
Yeah.
That whole thing.
It's still there, Stop and Shop.
Yeah. But it was just a parking lot. It had grocery
Before
store.
It had all other things. It was just Stop and Shop.
Just that Stop and Shop. So Brooklyn Hospital was right there. So she would just go there and go grocery shopping for me and bring my food there to Madison. And that made her, she didn't have kids.
Right.
So I understood that for her, that made her feel like, and so I was like, no, I don't want your money for daycare. And that's why Tristan, my son, would come to Double XL with me every day. And then the CFO sent out a letter to let people know you cannot bring your kid to work.
Right.
Except,
you doing all that shit.
Except coffee.
Except coffee. Oh.
And that's because he knew that I was having a hard time too. And he knew I wasn't making the money that I was supposed to make at Double XL. Like I got my degree.
Right.
Some of these people don't.
Right.
But, and he made it really easy when he sent that letter out. And then the people at Double XL became like the babysitters. Like I didn't have to ask.
Tristan was raised by Double XL.
Tristan was in Double XL playing with Jadakiss, Kanye, whenever he came. Like all these cats playing basketball because we had me and Smiley office. We called that the penthouse. So we had every video game you can think of because EA Sports and all of them trying to get in the mag. And they sending us everything.
Right.
So from Tony Shelman to Byron and all those
Byron
guys.
Kirkland
to like, oh yeah, I know Byron from Sean John to academics. Yeah, he's in Jersey too now, right? Yeah. So for all of them, Mayor, like all they coming because we done set up, like, you know how the NCAA college is, like the brackets, March Madness. Yeah. We done set this whole video game, whether it's college football or basketball
or Madden or whatever.
Or Madden, just like that. So all these people who are working at these brands are coming to Double XL. Marlon, you up next. You got to play against Coffee. The game. Right. You got to play against Byron. You got to, like, and whoever lose, they on their way out, but the winner stays.
Right.
Like, so it became not just a working thing, it became a family thing. And that's what a lot of people, the publishers, because the business was ran by, the Jewish community, which is cool, but they didn't know that behind the scenes, we were becoming family because they had kids too. And now I have a son and I'm meeting people who are like me, but they may be older, but they have kids too. So now we can relate. And now it's not all about, just come see me for an ad.
right?
Or just come see me to try to.
But now it's
put
a
your
relationship.
Clothes. It's a relationship.
It's a relationship,
and that's how. Yeah, we know a lot of the same people, and we're tight. We became brothers. Kim Snow.
I know what happened to Smiley. Where is he now?
Who?
Smiley.
Who wants to know?
Tony.
Which Tony?
From House of Swag.
No, Tony.
Shelman.
Dubois. No, Tony Dubois. That's how you say it, right, Tony? Chris Tony.
Oh yes, Chris's wife, Tony.
Yeah, Tony.
Yeah. Oh, Smiley, he's still around. Smiley's into fitness now. Like he does a lot of fitness, and his clients are sick with it. Like
really?
they got thick
Tony
pockets.
used to work at Vibe.
Oh yes. So yeah, Smiley. So Smiley he lives in Queens in Forest Hills, and he's into fitness now. So we still homeboys, like we still brothers. Like so, Smiley. I always look at Smiley as Smiley was the one that opened the door for me because we knew each other when we was kids,
right?
But if he didn't say, "Yo, Coffee, this is what you can do. Yo, keep coming, don't stop, keep coming." He's the one who cast me. He's the one who first cast me as a model. As a model. Right. You know, a lot of people didn't know that he was my homeboy. But when I came up here, man, I had an afro, braids, like I'm putting it back. My face is already shaped like a thug. So I gave a whole different look.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
You was able to effectuate that look.
Yeah, I wasn't no Christopher Williams or Al B. Shore. You know what I'm saying? I got marks on my face, like pimples and all that. Like, so Smiley saw that and was like, yo, I can use you if you're down.
Right.
All right, cool. I didn't know that it was going to become a huge fashion story. And then now I'm walking in the streets and people starting to see me and everybody's coming up like, hey, you model.
Right.
Hey, my name is such and such. Right. But then you also had to be careful on who you believe at that time too. So I had to be extremely careful, but Smiley knew who they were. So when I ran a name by Smiley, he was able to finagle like, yeah. You should go there. You want me to call him? Because cell phones, I didn't have a cell phone at first. I couldn't afford no cell phone in 2001. You know what I'm saying? Like I had it work first in order to get the service. Right. And then cell phones ain't like it is now. Like I remember when Cass had cell phones, Cass was still going. That's the very first issue. That's not even the issue. So that's the preview issue. Yes, that's the preview issue. That came out a week after Biggie was murdered. I know all about that whole story, yo. Now,
Premier issue, August 97.
Yeah. Now, I wasn't with Double XL at the time.
Right.
I was in college.
2010. I'm going to look for you in here.
Yeah, you can look for my name in there. But that was towards the tail end. That cover,
That's a weird ass cover. That's a weird ass cover.
You gotta get
saying nothing.
You gotta get the other covers, yo. Like the Dre, the Eminem, the 50 cover.
So this is what I want to know. You raising a son.
Yeah.
So at some point Tristan starts going to school.
Yeah.
Now you dropping him off, picking him up, and one thing that I don't think people who don't have kids don't understand how much people who have kids shape and form their entire life around their children's needs.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you got to pick your kid up at 3:00. You got to be there at 3:00.
Yeah.
Which means anything you doing in the world has to stop at 3:00 because you got to pick up your kid.
Yeah.
Tell me about that time. Like, I know he was in the office with you, but now he's in grade school. Now he's in 4th, 5th grade homework and shit.
Yeah.
Right? It's a whole different thing.
So during that time, his mom moved back.
Okay.
Years later.
Okay.
And I'm traveling so much.
Right.
So now that I'm traveling so much, our conversation becomes he goes and he stays with her. And then he comes to me whenever, because at this time he can make his own decisions. Like the thing that I admired about New York was that the kids develop so much quicker than the kids in the South. Because y'all have to take the train, learn all this stuff on your own, and it's a faster pace. It's like that. So Tristan was already on to that. Me putting him on to that. So he would come stay with me, and then his school was close by where she lived, on Flatbush. So, and then that's where he went to Walt Whitman.
Walt Whitman, okay.
So he ended up going to Walt Whitman for that. And then as he got older, it was his decision. So, he would come back and forth. The first years of him from a year and a half to 6, it was strictly
you and him.
Yeah.
Right. But once he got into grade school, she came back and then you were able to co-parent.
Yeah. And the other good thing is that once like when he was 5, then I met someone else.
Okay.
And that's who my wife, my partner is.
Your
now.
partner now.
Yeah,
right.
yeah. So she met him at 5, and then I already knew that any woman, like I'm in double XL, so I already knew that any woman would come and pretend that they would like you, right? Because they would want to be.
Because they want to be. They want proximity.
Yeah, they want to be in the mag somehow, some way.
Right.
But it was the woman for me that showed love to the kid. If you show my kid love, then that means you're showing me love. It's not about me; it's about him, because I'm all about him. Like my nightlife is, I have to go out to do this, that, and the third, but I'm not drinking and I'm staying coherent because I got to come back and be a father.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So she was the one who caught my eye, and we've been together for like 20 years now.
Wow.
So Tristan is at the house now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
How old is he now?
Tristan is 20, 25.
What's he doing?
Oh, he was in college, and then the pandemic hit, and then he let it be known he didn't want to do it anymore. So he actually does stock at Target overnight, like graveyard shift.
Right.
You know, and I told him, as long as he figure it out.
Yeah, he got to figure it out.
You know what I'm saying?
That's his life.
And I noticed, like, one thing, that he's not a bad kid at all. And he's probably like my wife and I now. We have 3 other kids. We have an 11-year-old Phoenix, our daughter, and then we have a set of twins that are 11. But
so
what
you have 3 11-year-olds?
2.
So
I have Annie and I have a 13-year-old.
A 13. Okay, all right.
And then we have a set of twins.
That's
for
11.
11.
Right.
Yeah. But what I noticed by having Tristan is that it's not what you say, is what you do. Because still to this day, he hasn't drank alcohol or smoke or any of that stuff. Right. And I'm like, Tristan, you don't have to do that because I was doing it. He was like, I'm just not interested.
Right.
And I'm like, oh.
Yeah, because they learn from watching.
Yeah. So that's what I'm still doing, with the kids now. So I'm just like, oh, okay.
No, that's real. Like, I got a 9-year-old and I got a 29-year-old, 9-year-old, and 6-year-old, right? I got 3 kids. My 9-year-old, like, she'd be like, we did a Halloween thing. She want to host things because she see me hosting stuff. Right. Oh, Daddy, I want to host a party. Like, put my name on like, that's in her mind. She already is like, I'm going to be out front.
Yeah.
My 6-year-old can't stand this shit. My son, he can't stand the limelight. But he want to be near me. Like, he want to be with me, but he don't want to touch the mic or nothing. So it's funny to see how your children adapt to your life.
Yeah.
It ain't about what you say. Just like you said, it's not about, they're not listening to you.
Not listening.
They're watching you.
They can't comprehend it.
They're watching you. And they're like, yo, I like that part of my father. I love that part of my father. This is what I want.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so it's the same thing.
So, and that's why I'm like, yo, this is nuts. And then the twin, they fraternal, one boy, one girl, London and Cruz. Cruz runs track now. I never ran track, but he runs track
because he sees you
for Prospect Park track kids.
Right.
So they go run. They work out at McCarran Park, and then they work their races at Icon Stadium. And I'm like, oh man, like this is nuts. And he's just like, yo, Dad, when can I come run a 5K with you all? And I'm like, all right, he ran with us at No Name. Right. Like season 2, he will be out there. And I'm just like, dang, like my dad didn't do this with me. Like and that's why I said I chose New York, because my dad wasn't in my life. So I was like, I'm not gonna be like my dad. My dad not being in my life showed me how to be a dad. Right. It showed me how to literally be there. Like, don't.
Did you never knew your dad?
Oh yeah, I know him. I know him. He won't. He. I mean, I don't want to talk bad about him, but he only came around when there was like a basketball game. Right. But other than that, and I had no hard feelings of that, because I never wanted to force anybody to be around me that didn't want to be around. That would be so weird as a kid. You know what I'm saying? Like, I never wanted that feeling. If you want to come around me, okay, cool. If you don't want to come around me, okay, cool. Both ways was cool with me. But once I became a parent, it's like, that's what I'm not going to do. So that kind of helped me be like, no, I'm going to make sure I'm in my kid's life. Right. Like, regardless of the fact, I'm not going to LA and I know I got a kid here in New York. That's not happening.
So after that Double XL, what do you do?
Double XL is over. Social is huge. You know what I'm saying? Social media. So I just started consulting for different brands. And while I was at XXL, I was here. But then once Paper Tank it became, it was a sinking ship. Sinking ship. So I started consulting for different brands here and there. And then I just started figuring out, like, on the side, I was also screenwriting. On the side, I was also acting. Getting real gigs, like in the acting film, in the acting world. And then I started writing scripts, wrote a short film called About the People that was about us. Going through trying times before the pandemic hit. But a lot of people didn't want to listen to that. It was like, oh, that ain't happening. And then everybody saw what I was talking about when, Mr., rest in peace, Mr. George Floyd passed away, or when not passed away, when Mr. George Floyd got murdered. Or when Miss Breonna Taylor got murdered, Mr. Elijah McClain. Like, when all that happened, man, that's when it was like, people start trying to come back and wanted to show About the People. And About the People do you remember the film 12 Angry Men?
Yes.
So Khalid Sumner and I wrote this film because my son Tristan, who I was talking about, in like 2015, 2016, that's when Brooklyn Bridge Park had just opened, right? And Tristan had a curfew, 10 o'clock p.m. in the summertime. And him and his homeboys used to go to the park all the time.
Brooklyn Park and ball.
Ball all day. That's so I did not have to worry. Right. And I'm in Fort Greene. Like, I'm literally right across the street on DeKalb. I ain't gonna give the number, but I was about to get it over. Like, that's how I do your thing. Yo, where you at? Oh, I'm at
right. Now you got people outside. But you're not far from Brooklyn Hospital.
Not far
which
from
again
Brooklyn
is full
Hospital.
circle.
Full circle. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So, yeah, you're right. Yeah. So they going. And then I started noticing Tristan was coming home at like 7:30, and it's still daytime in the summertime. And I'm like, yo, okay, cool. But this was happening like 2-3 weeks in a row. So I'm thinking somebody's messing with him. So I'm like, yo, Tristan, let's talk, man. What's the deal? Like, to myself, I'm thinking, if anybody at the park is bothering him, I'm young enough and I still got a click.
Right.
Well, we can go down
we
there. We
can
go talk about this.
Right.
But then when I asked him about it, he was like, nah, Dad, me and my boys are afraid that we might get killed by the cops. So they made sure that they would get home before dark because they saw what happened to Mr. Trayvon Martin.
Right.
And that's when I realized, oh, these teenagers are, and social media was.
Right.
And then the guy selling Skittles, signing it, like Tristan was telling me all this stuff. So I got with my boy Khalid Sumner, who you might know, you might know his brother Hanif. Hanif Sumner, they're twins. So people get them confused all the time, but they mad cool. He's a screenwriter. We wrote About the People, and man, that thing took off. So we had like Michael Kenneth Williams, Diggy, Tyler Lepley, like all these big names wanted to be a part of it, and they were. And it was winning festivals, man, and then the pandemic hit.
Right.
Because we shot it in like 2018, wrote it in 2016, 2017, got it signed, and then we shot it in 2019. No, I'm sorry, we shot it 2018, and then we put it out in September 2019. And then when it came out, it was winning, your Martha venues and your
ABFF.
ABF, and then the one that's in the one Bronzelands that's in Atlanta. So even the New Jersey, the Newark, like it was winning all these circuits. That was, if you win, then it gets nominated for an Oscar.
Right.
It can be nominated for an Oscar. But then the pandemic hit. You get 1 year to show all this stuff, and then when the pandemic hit, man, once the pandemic hit in March, shut everything down. Now I did have some film festivals that actually turned this down because you have to send it to them to see it, and then their people will let you know once you submit if you're gonna be a part of it or not.
Right.
If you didn't get in, you can ask why. Marlon, there were so many people that hit me and was like, because this isn't factual. It's not true. This is really not happening. Okay, cool. When the pandemic hit and we saw that happen, everything went online, right? These same people come back around, and now all of a sudden they want to put this film on a platform. And I said, no, we're not doing that.
Right.
Because you're the same person that told me this is not factual.
Right.
It took the world to slow down in order for you to really know that this is real. Come on, dog. What are you doing that you didn't think this was real? Where did you get lost in the sauce at?
Right.
Because this was happening before any of us was born.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I've been knowing that this was an issue. Like I know for a fact that once we walk in a room, we already judged by this before we even say anything. And we could be the smartest person in the room, but we don't get that opportunity. because we already got that X the minute we walk in from being black. And that's why I wrote that short film. And that short film, you know, with Michael being attached, Michael Kenneth Williams, rest in peace. With him being attached and him doing his thing in there, man, that took another thing.
So he acted in it.
Oh yeah.
Bro, I gotta see this.
Yeah, now you know what's crazy is I was gonna send you the link today, and I was gonna like, yo, Marlon, watch this before. And then I was like, if I do that, this motherfucker's gonna be like, who the fuck Coffee think he is? Like, I was like, I ain't gonna do that. I don't want that approach because I'm not like that at all. But it's on YouTube about the People short film. Like it's there, and then from there it was just more like, okay, HBO jumped on it, and then you can go like Deadline, Variety, like all these article comes out about the whole thing, and HBO Max jumped on it immediately because they knew that Michael, if you remember in The Wire, Boardwalk Empire, even that show where he played in the prison, he played Freddy in the prison. He was never the lead, but everybody remember his part. Yeah,
he's iconic.
He was iconic,
right?
So HBO kind of owed him a show where he's the lead, and this was it. So this thing.
So he's the lead in your short.
He was about to. He played the senator. So I didn't give anybody a name. We gave them all titles because nobody never look at us as a senator or the executive, you know, or that like the college boy, the smart college kid is where Diggy name was. Like though they had names. I mean, they had titles instead of names. And from there, man, we had all these meetings and you know. TV Bible, we scripted the pilot, and then unfortunately Michael passed away. And then once that happened, conversations start changing. So, but you know, that went down, and I just changed everything up. Like I'm no longer going to touch that project because that project only happened because of Mike. You know what I'm saying? It didn't happen because it was written well. Like me and Khalid did a great fucking job, but it only happened because Mike was like, I remember going to Mike, and you know, and Mike was my kids. He was Phoenix's, my 13-year-old's godfather.
Wow.
Like I was the one that gave Mike his first photo shoot, which was crazy to me because you would think, wait, he was in The Wire and his character was huge, but nobody never gave him a photo shoot. So once I put him in XXL, and then we start saying, because I would see Mike on the train, like, yo, what the fuck you doing on the train? And then we start talking from there, and then we both got cast in a movie in Louisiana after that, and we was in the same film. And that's where we really start talking. And then that's when it's like, yo, where you here? And we was at the airport trying to go to Louisiana, and the name of the movie is called The Hustler Story. And so we both had to fly down there, and we ended up on the same plane, and then that's when we broke bread. And then that's when he found out I was a writer. And then that's when he was the first he was the first name that believed in me as a writer. And then once he read it, before he even read it, he was like, yeah, I'm down. You ain't got to tell me no more because I told him why I wrote it. But then when he read it, that's when he was like, oh yeah, we got to shoot this shit now because I got something to say. And Hollywood won't really let me speak like I want to. So we shot it.
That's crazy.
And it was, you know, it came out good, man. Like it came out really good. I was really impressed by it. And now shelve that, which I'm A-okay with because that was only going to happen because of Mike. And I'm not going to shortchange my guy. You know what I'm saying? Because there's so many politics and shit in that world. So, and I was like, you know what?
But I also feel like people may covet it because it's his work. It's like when Biggie died and like, it's like unreleased verses type.
Yeah, we had.
It's finished?
Oh yeah, no, it came out. Yeah, it's not the short film came out, and when everybody saw that short film, they wanted more. Every screening, when you do the Q&A, people wanted more and more and more, and they saw it as a TV show. They saw it as a movie, and I kept saying, not a movie. If anything, it could be a TV show. But you had these men in one room. That's why I say the 12 Angry Men, and it's hard to have one room setting, but the way we wrote it is what keeps you interested. And then that 27 minutes goes by like that because it's, you know, well, I'm not going to tell you.
And I feel like that gives actors the opportunity to really dig into that craft and really get busy.
When you watch it.
Because 12 Angry Men is like that.
Yes.
When
you watch it, you're going to be happy and pissed off at the same time. And then there's a twist to it. And the twist was, you know, it was due to my grandmother, because my grandmother, I used to always see my grandfather and his homeboys used to always be outside, you know, talking shit, talking about baseball, or, you know, just drinking, clowning around. And they will always have different topics to talk about. Mm-hmm. But then whenever they got to a topic, this must have happened like only 2 or 3 times that I know of. I'm sure it happened way more, but 2 or 3 times where I remember they was having conversations and they never could get the answer. And my grandmother will always hear what they was talking about, so she would be the one to answer it for them. Mm-hmm. So I added that twist to about the people, mm-hmm. and people went crazy when they realized, you know, what the twist was. Right. And I was like, okay. And then I also ended
I'm going home to watch this shit tonight.
Yeah, man. And I also the way that Khalid and I ended it was due to my grandmother too, because she was a missionary / preacher. Mm-hmm. So I was in church all the time. Mm-hmm. And I felt like it will only be right. That was me saying thank you to her as well from that knowledge.
Right.
So,
bro, I didn't even know that we were gonna go. Like
I know it had to be over an hour, right?
Like I didn't even know. No, it's fine. It's fine.
Sean wants to say that he wants to link with Tristan. He wants to show Tristan the sneaker game.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. Right. Sean, my apologies. I still haven't made it. Like Sean, oh man.
See, he be talking about us. No, it be you. Like we put out the word. It's you.
Sean.
You're on the list.
No, so Sean seen Tristan grow as well, because you know Sean has a kid too.
Yeah.
Gavin, is that
Sean? Is like, man, like he's like the plug. He's the connector.
Oh, that's what he calls himself. The plug.
Yeah. Sean is the plug.
And I met Sean through Daytwan. Mm-hmm. Do y'all know Daytwan?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so you know Daytwan was so Elliot Wilson was my editor-in-chief, and then when Elliot left, Daytwan became my editor-in-chief. Right. But me and Daytwan was always tight.
Right. And Daytwan is probably the only one that we haven't had here yet.
Oh, so he has.
We need to get him here.
Well, let him know. Have you been invited to the block party?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's been invited.
Oh, see? So then he's still on another level. Right. Oh, yeah. I can hear Daytwan is dope, man.
He's been here. Okay. He did the interview with the sister from East New York, Jamila. Right? He's been in Hip Hop Closet. Oh, okay. But we just haven't interviewed him yet. Yeah.
Oh yeah, man. Daytwan has a story, man. Mm-hmm. Like he's between here and LA now. Like Daytwan making moves. Mm-hmm. Like they all Sean Malcolm, Daytwan, you know, Paula. Like everybody has made their move. Right. That come from Double XL. You know what I'm saying? Like I always felt like when we was at XXL. You ever see the documentary The Last Dance? Michael Jordan.
Yes.
And Scottie Pippen and them. That's what we had at Double XL. They didn't get it though. Mm-hmm. Like they didn't understand what they had. Like we were Michael Jordan, Scottie, and that entire team in the 90s.
Right.
And they didn't get it. And then it became too late. Mm-hmm. And then people start going different ways and that run was over with. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So it was only right that paper tape because nobody was paying any attention to it. Like people, that's when once I
taking it for granted.
Yeah, they started taking it for granted, man, because we were so high up. And then once I started learning faces with the names, like the writers, I was like, oh, I'm working with such and such. Like, oh, this is dope. His mind is totally different than her mind. You know what I'm saying? Her mind is totally different than his mind. Like, I became like, I was just like, I always become a student. I never want to be what they say is cliche, but I never want to be the smartest person in the room. Mm-hmm. And I always love giving people what they deserve. Mm-hmm. You know, because it's not about me. It's about what everybody else is doing and how they contribute and how we are all in the same game. Like, you know, what was that West Coast? We're all in the same game. Right. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it's about, man. So I always like, yo, no, do you know what you did?
Right.
Like, forget me. Like, I'm only doing this because you showed me the way or because that person showed me the way. And I was just smart enough to know to keep going upward and don't just stop.
I want to spend the last 10 minutes on the running piece because that's how you and I met. And that was the whole shit. Like, I didn't realize we was going to, you know, get so deep in culture and your contribution to culture, which is amazing. You're a fucking Renaissance man, dog. Like you're one of us. Like I didn't realize that. Like we're just coming to know one another. I didn't realize how embedded in this thing you were.
Yeah, man. I mean, I started seeing you too. Remember on Murder when we saw each other? I called your name.
Yeah, you did.
I was like, oh, that's him.
Yeah.
Yo, Mo.
Yeah,
and
you did. Yeah.
And then we just start talking right from there.
Right.
Because I saw you on your IG, you was running, you was short, and then you were like, yo, you going for a run, going for a run. And I was like, oh, that's dope. That's dope. But then I started seeing you was having block parties. You know, and I want to get advice. I was like, I got to get closer to this guy. On Green Avenue, where somewhere over there. And I'm like, oh, man.
So No Name program is in the second season.
Third. We just finished his third season.
So I remember the shirt, like I could close my eyes and see the shirt, No Name. And I remember when I started seeing it, it may have been like last year. I don't think I remember it from 3 years back, but maybe last year I started really seeing you guys.
Yeah.
And people, so I've been in the running community for like 17, 18 years, right? Yeah. And so the running community from a Black standpoint has changed a lot over those 18 years. Like when I started running races, the first race, so I used to run the Bed-Stuy 10K, which was Restoration's race.
Yes.
Every Columbus Day weekend, the Bed-Stuy 10K.
Yep.
And then I would run, there was a race called the Battle of Brooklyn. It was a 10-mile race in Prospect Park. It used to happen in August.
Okay.
And I would run that race. And then when I got put on to the to the Brooklyn Half, my first Brooklyn Half was in 13, and I ran the Brooklyn Half every year.
Okay.
Right? Every year. I think I've run that race like 10, 11 times.
The one to Coney Island.
The one that goes to Coney Island.
Okay.
When I started running races, even in 13, this was like the beginnings of Black Girls Run, the beginnings of Black Men Run.
Yeah.
Right? When I moved to DC, Black Men Run didn't even have a chapter in DC. So that was in 2013. Black people running is fairly new.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so, you know, on this path over the last 15 years, we've become a unit. Like every Black person in Brooklyn at a point knew one another. Like if you was running, if you was at these races, you was at the Brooklyn Half, you was at the New York City Half before they changed the route, when you was going down the West Side Highway, right? Like we knew one another.
Yeah.
This thing has taken off.
Yeah.
Since the pandemic.
Yeah.
Shit is different.
Yeah.
Right? And so now running is its own social dynamic.
Yeah. It's become a culture now.
It's become a culture.
Yeah.
It was a culture before, but it's become a popular culture now. Yeah. And you find your way in the middle of it.
Yeah.
You seem to be that type of person that always kind of finds their way into the fabric of a thing. Like you came from North Carolina and worked for Double XL for 10 years. And then you wrote a short with Michael K. Williams.
Yeah.
And then you become the leader or one of our leaders in our running community. How did that happen?
Yeah, I mean, when I start running outside, we'll skip the treadmill days. But once I start running outside, man, I couldn't go back indoor. And that's how I figured Brooklyn out. I had this guy named Tony Cheon who showed me all of Brooklyn, which was really sick and dope, and Manhattan, some parts of Queens. But then when Knox Robinson, when he asked me to become a pacer for Nike, and I went over, I started realizing it wasn't enough of us. And we had a pacer by the name of Angela who was there. She was Dominican, and she told me to take a look around. It was like a cold winter night on a Thursday at Nike Town. And she told me to take a look around, tell me what you see. And I took a look and was like, okay, I don't know, like, what's she talking about? I thought maybe she was playing around. And then she said, no, take a look around, tell me what you see. And I was like, I don't know. I see, their gear, whatever. I said. She was like, no, you're the only one that's here. You're the only Black person that's here. So if you're going to take this serious, you need to come here every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. And as soon as she said that, that's when I was like, okay. So I had to have a talk with myself. Am I going to take this serious or what? I knew I was going to take it serious, but how serious can this be? So then I kept going, became a pacer. So my number one thing was, I'm not seeing us. I'm not seeing any other culture out there, really, but I'm not seeing Black people. So how can I attract that? We have a tendency, if you see yourself in someone, then that can also be you. So when I run, that's why you always see me cover my head. Like I cover my head for two reasons. From my mom, because she died with breast cancer. but also to keep, when I see a brother, when I see a sister, if they see me with the do-rag or the scully, they see themselves. So they know that they can come out here and do this too. You don't look like a nerd or a punk when you put one foot in front of the other. You're actually being very smart because in the long run game, like we're thinking long term now. We're not thinking now. You know what I'm saying? Like right now, as I sit with you, yeah, I'm in the moment with you, but I'm already thinking about season 4 for the No Name program. Like how many other people that I can get a color to be a part of this thing. You know what I'm saying? For me, it's about saving lives. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because we're dying young, dog. Yeah. Like
we see it this year.
We see it this year. Like late 40s, early 50s. Like
and that's it.
Dying young. And you know, the what people was eating back then, you know, in the 90s, nobody said anything. Even in the 2000s, when we was wearing 4Xs for no reason and, you know, big clothes.
Long shirts,
eating pizza, Chinese food, McDonald's like 2, 3, 4 in the morning and then going straight to bed after that. Nobody was saying this isn't healthy. You know what I mean? But I figured it out when I started running in 05 on the treadmill because then think at 05, even then, people were still wearing big clothes and wasn't really anything healthy about the culture at the time. People were still doing all the unhealthy shit to the point where people at Double XL thought that I was dying. They thought I had cancer. And they spoke to Smiley
you were skinny.
Because I became really slim.
Right.
And then when they told Smiley, hey, can we all get together and talk to Coffee because he don't want, he's and then Smiley, just like you doing, Smiley start laughing at them. Right. Because Smiley came and told me, he's like, Cough, I couldn't do nothing but laugh because I had to tell him, that motherfucker he running. Right. Like he's running every day and every night. Right. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I really got into it. And then my thing was, I got to get more of us out there. So how can I do it? How can I attract that? When you don't have to say a word, you get people's attention. When you go up to them, if I was like, yo, Marlon, you got to start running, I done lost your attention. So how can I do this solidly? That's been my whole thing. Everything I do, how can I do it solidly? Let me cover my head. Let me wear basketball shorts. That's how I started. Let me wear like, even if this is a tank, let me cut the white t-shirt, the sleeves off the white t-shirt and put it like we playing basketball. Start seeing them come. Start seeing them come like that. And then once the pandemic happened, I started to find New York Run Club because everybody kept asking me when I was over there at Nike, what are you going to do? You got a run club? Can I come to? So I would just push them to whatever neighborhood that they was in. So I started my own here at Fort Greene out of Dickie James. Trey from Fat Farm, A-Life. That's his spot, Dickie James. Yeah. So, and Trey was running way back then. So he understood. So when I asked him, can I use the spot? He was like, of course. Like he already understood. He knew. Right. So he gave me the spot, man, to use on Saturdays. And that's where I started running for Define. And then once Lululemon came, and they was like, hey, Cough, you know, we interested, this, that, and the third. And then I went and did a trial, and then they loved it. And then I loved them, you know, because they weren't micromanaging me. Like, they was like, hey, we already seen what you can do. Here's the thing. Wherever you at, and you're not happy, keep doing it. Because you never know who's watching. Lululemon was watching me. I didn't know that. I had no clue. But they was watching. They was peeping game. And I didn't know that. So when they came and then we start talking, man, and then next thing you know, they fly me to Hawaii to do, you know, their global campaign.
Right,
things
I
like that.
He was out there,
So I was like,
you can't come to the block party.
Yeah, that's right, because he in Hawaii. You don't listen to him, right? He talking shit.
So then when I told Lululemon, I was like, you know, I need an official marathon training program. Okay. It was no. It was like, okay. And I want to build it off the 4 elements of hip hop. And this is why. Because the 4 elements of hip hop, well, people didn't understand that you can run to music. So, and a lot of times, a lot of people run to hip hop. Right. So when you think about it, think about the cadence and think about the BPM, the beats per minute. So if you're a fast runner, think Eminem and Busta Rhymes. Right. You know what I'm saying? If you're conversational piece, think Jay-Z, Nas, 50. Right. You know, think those type of artists. And even if you running slower,
like Mess,
like
I throw that in there. I'm sorry. You on the things, you don't mind.
Even when you run slower, I always tell people think Ice Cube or Scarface. Right. Like today was a good day. If you listen to that, Ice Cube pronounces every syllable in that word, and if you didn't know how to spell it, you would know how to spell it after he pronounced it. He takes his time. So it's up to you to find the beat and the rhythm to run to.
That works for you.
That works for you. And then the headquarters, my headquarters HQ each year has been graffiti out. Like I always get the artists to come and they graffiti it out. And then from the DJ standpoint, we have a DJ there every now and then. And then from the breakdancer standpoint, bending out from the fashion world, we always, in September Fashion Night Out, we have a fashion show for the runners, you know, and then we have a live fashion show. And then I put a breakdancer here and a breakdancer there to come out and breakdance. And then at the end of each season, I know a lot of these artists from my double XL.
Right.
So the first year
you did the Buster shit this year.
Yeah, that's so I had Buster.
Yeah. Yeah, he didn't invite me. He didn't invite me to that show. I saw it. I happened to see it.
I didn't know if he really knew me. I bumped into him in the street.
Right, I saw the Buster shit. I said, "Oh, that nigga didn't invite me." Okay, I see.
But the first year in my speeches, what I always do is I always incorporate some song lyrics from the artists that I know I'm gonna have to the end. So the first season was "We Gonna Make It," right? And then I kept having them like. Every now and then I would say, yo, you on the left, we gonna make it. On the right side, we gonna make it. Right. We gonna make it. And they didn't know why they were saying this. And then I would incorporate some of Jadakiss songs like why. Like you gotta know your why. You know what I'm saying? I was actually in the why video because me and Jada became tight. And he was one of the first ones that flew me out to do some of the work that I was doing when it came to acting and things like that. But I incorporated those things because you have to have a why. Why are you going to sign up to run 26.2 miles, but you won't drive 26.2 miles? Right. So we're crazy about this thing. Right. So had that set up. And then at the very end, at our post party, marathon run party, Jadakiss comes out and performs. Boom. The second season, did it with Fat Joe. And this season, did it with Busta Rhymes. Right. So that's how.
So you thinking long range, you already programmatically, you already know where you're going.
Yeah, I already know where I'm going. And then on Mondays throughout the 16-week program at 12 noon, I always post a different mural in a different borough. So because you have to build base, which you know to run a marathon. Right. So you can't just wait for us on a Tuesday to do speed or Thursday to do strength or Saturday to do long runs. You got to do runs on your own to build base your mileage. Right. So on Mondays, being that you got to do 3 to 5 or 7 miles, at 12 noon, I will post a mural up. And once I post that mural up, you got to go find it. And the first person that finds it will get a $200 Lululemon gift card. So I made it fun for them.
Why am I not no name?
Ask can tell you about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, he can't. He ain't never found a mural.
But I was making it fun like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's about running, but how can you make running fun and how can you take yourself running miles out of your mind from your mental? Right. Now it's about getting to where we're going to find Hiphop Closet at, like the first one. And then you take a photo, a selfie, and the first one to tag at Thatcoffeyboy and at the No Name program, they win. Because when you tag, IG documents. Yes,
like
if you do it at 112 and she does it at 113, I know you won. It's a timestamp. Right. So that's how I'm able to equate who won. And then on that side of the long run, I give the winner the gift card in front of everybody.
How many people was involved in this year's No Name program?
500 and some change.
Yo.
So it grew. Like it grew.
Yo, I ran past y'all. I'm saying I've run past y'all.
And it was.
And they come in waves because it's like paces. So it's like the 8-minute group, the 9-minute group. Shout out to Cheryl. You know Cheryl, brown skin Cheryl.
Yes.
Yes. Saw her. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Nisha, who comes out of Lean Strong Fast. Right? Like so
Black Pearl Cheryl.
Black Pearl Cheryl.
That's what we call it.
Exactly. So for me, right, you know, I ran with a crew, Wild Famous Running Crew. It's like 7 of us. But Pat was our center. Like I said, Pat died in 21, complications from COVID. And so, you know, I've been kind of running by myself, right? And just kind of like, I don't run with nobody.
Yeah.
But this year, seeing the No Name program, there was times when I was like, yo, I really need to get out there and get with y'all. But the problem is the afternoons are tough for me because of my work. Because of my work life. I'm a 5 a.m, 6 a.m runner. You know what I'm saying? Like I need to get it in early so that I can get my day started. You know what I'm saying? So it was kind of difficult for me. Talk to me about that 500 and how you connect and how you keep those people
entertained.
Nah, but like committed.
Yeah.
Because the shit running, you and I both know it's really a by yourself thing. Oh, yeah. Like you can run with people.
Yeah.
But when you get up in miles and you get up in consistency, it's really you got to wake up and make that decision for yourself. Yeah. Coffee can't make that decision for you. He can build you up, he can inspire you, he can motivate you, but he can't run those miles for you.
Yeah. So you just have to like solidly know that we're our hardest critic, right?
Yeah.
So what I always tell people is, you know, as soon as you wake up in the morning, the first thing you probably do is you wake up, you say your prayers or whatnot, thank God that you made it, and then you go to the bathroom and you look at yourself in the mirror. When you look at yourself in the mirror, tell yourself how beautiful you are and tell yourself how great of a day you're going to have. Mm-hmm. And once you do that, you dictate the rest of your day.
Right.
You know, if you go to the mirror and say, oh God, I don't want to
right.
work. Jesus
that's
Christ.
Your day.
Like, that's the rest of your day.
That's the rest of your day.
So you have to change it from that standpoint first. Mm-hmm. And then once you get into your day, understand that you are solidly competing with the next person beside you. You don't need to compete. But when it comes to running, if it's 5 miles and you probably only got 3 in you, you're not going to let me outdo you.
Right.
So you're going to get that 5 miles in.
Right.
And then gradually your lungs is going to open up.
Right.
And then you also, your base build will still climbing.
Right.
And now your heart rate is where it's supposed to be. It's the breathing pattern that we have to get you on, the running breathing pattern. And then once they see a little light, that they are progressing.
Yeah, progression is everything.
That's everything.
It's everything.
Then it starts to grow.
Right. I'm going to tell you something else though. So for me, the thing that used to really charge me up when I was early on running is I would get up and from where I live to leave my house and run Prospect Park and come back home is 5.8 miles.
Yeah.
So I would get up at like 6:30 in the morning, run 5.8, come back home, get dressed, go to work. When I'm at work, you, like you said, that low key, that subtle competition.
Yeah.
No one at work can compete with me because in my mind, I've run 5.8 miles this morning. Yeah. What did you do this morning?
Yeah.
And that kind of put me in a space of dominance.
Yeah.
In my entire life. It spread. Right. It spread. It was pervasive.
Yeah.
Running those miles in the morning became pervasive in my life.
Yeah.
And that's when, like you talk about progress is when people take hold. No, it was, for me, it was when I realized this thing is spreading. It's deeper than just the run.
Yeah.
It's creating a different beast.
It's always deeper than the run, man. And then people have whys, you know, like people die. You know what I'm saying? It's on people's bucket list. People want to honor people that can't run. You know what I'm saying? So everybody comes from different walks of life that want to do this 26.2 for different reasons. And it's my job and Coach Julia's job to make sure that we keep them in that why, in that moment. Understand why you signed up, because we didn't force you to sign up.
Right. You're here because you want to be
here. You're here because you wanted to be here. And now we have to honor the reason why you're here.
Right.
So it's just like a test. You don't want to fail because if you fail, it's always going to come back and haunt you somehow. It's always going to be, oh man, I wish. Well, let's take care of that I wish now.
Right.
And let's keep going forward. Even if it's just a small fracture, not a 12 feet step. Let's keep moving forward. And then I guarantee you and promise you that we'll get you across the finish line somehow, some way.
How many times you did the New York Marathon?
4.
How many other marathons have you done?
London, Berlin, that's it.
So you got 6 in total?
Yeah.
Tell me so in the New York Marathon, tell me your favorite strip of land to run in the
Lafayette.
New York Marathon. Yeah.
Lafayette, because of the crowd.
Right.
But I can't help nobody on Lafayette. So like the past 3, I gotta run New York every year now because I have the No Name program here.
Right.
And my mission is to get you across. So if you gone in a mental standpoint, I got to turn around and go get you. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I was doing. So I ran 31 miles. I always get to either close to 30 or a little over 30 on marathon day. And then that's, and I suffer from that after the run.
Right.
But during the run, man, a chill bump moment from that is the greatest feeling I can have.
Yeah, absolutely.
Helping somebody, it's not about helping me.
Yeah.
I know what I'm capable of doing.
Yeah.
But if I can help somebody,
yeah,
you ain't got to pay me back. Pay that forward.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I learned that from the OGs. Like, OG loan you $5. They don't want that back. Pay that forward,
pay it
young.
Forward. Give it somebody else.
Yep, pay that forward, young buck.
Right.
When you see somebody in your shoes, you remember this day. That's what they used to tell me all the time. And I'm like, that's how I see this. Like, wherever you from, you see somebody that wants to run or they need to know some type of knowledge, pay it forward. Give them that.
Right.
Don't charge them for that.
Right.
Because I also was the one that made marathon training free. You used to have to pay for.
You have to pay for that shit. Oh hell yeah! I remember that shit.
When the No Name program came about, and I spoke to Lululemon, I was like, "Nah, let's do this for free." And they was like, "Okay, yeah, let's do it for free."
Right.
And they was like, "Let's do it."
Right.
You no longer have to pay $350. So all these other brands had to follow suit once I did that.
Right. Set the precedent.
Yep.
Real quick, because we got to go.
Yeah.
So people that want to be a part of No Name program, when do you start season 4?
Season 4 starts in July, but Global Run Day is
June.
It's the first Wednesday. It's the first Wednesday in June. That's when we will advertise it just a little bit, like a week before Global Run Day. And what we usually do is tell people, if you want to be a part of the No Name program, come run with Define New York Run Club on Global Run Day, and then they sign in. And when they sign in, then that's like, okay, you can be a part of it. But once we start the middle of July, now you got to choose yourself, because we have a 4 weeks of preseason, and we dictate that by see who's coming the most of those 8 sessions that we have. And if everybody come, then everybody's in. But if everybody don't come, it's like half, which is like 500 something this year. Then those are the ones we know that we can take serious because they take it serious. Yep.
Okay.
I'm back here running for the walkers.
Yeah, no, you can come walk with us too.
The walkers have been like, we don't get enough respect.
No, I mean, no. So Define, like me, Cheryl, Chris, Dez, Victor. I'm not Victor. Oh my God, Victoria, and Sarah. We had talks about that now for Define New York Run Club to have like a walk club on Saturday mornings as well, because that we know that that's needed. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like some people can't run, but they can walk. Everybody can,
and they're willing to walk.
Right. You don't have to walk the same distance that we run, but you will have a headquarters to start from and somewhere to end.
Right.
Oh yeah, we would love.
So
my husband walk we try to do it every morning, but
so let's talk.
Yeah.
What they talking about on the thing?
Well, we were talking about the walking. But CEO Mook wants to see the sneakers that I'm about to win in.
Yeah, you won. I didn't even really. And those shits is hot, but they look like Sean John
What
Jones.
are they?
Michael Kors.
Oh, look! Are you really wilding now? Mook just text me too. Mook, come on! It's like you gassing again. I see it. Of course, I see it. Of course, I see it. Of course, I see it.
Thank you. So you can. It goes straight.
Oh, it's like a
It goes straight through. I'm gonna put a nail in that bitch.
I'm gonna send my man to come.
Where Dano went? He left?
No, he's waiting for me downstairs. We going to get. Oh, yep. See, look, the fire sign. Thank you, Mook. Thank you.
Mook, you gassing him, man.
I appreciate you.
Look, yo, this was amazing. I didn't even know, dog. Like, I wanted to talk to you because I knew that you were influencer in running culture.
Yeah.
And I knew you had dabbled in hip hop, but I didn't realize to the depths.
Oh, yeah.
What's the name of the movie again for people who want to go see it?
About the People.
And it's on
short
YouTube.
film. It's on YouTube now.
About the People.
About the People short film. 27 minutes. We love for people to go check it out. Like, there's been a lot of people that
I'm gonna watch that shit now when I go to the crib.
It won its awards. People, it had people crying, of course, and things of that nature. But it's about real life, and that's about saving people's life. Like my whole trajectory is, how can I save somebody's life? How can I help you? Help me. Help us. Right. That's it. And that, regardless on what capacity, whether it was fashion, the mom and pop shops, how can I help you? Running, how can I help you? This short film, how can I help you? Everything I touch is a how can I help you? Gotcha. Because I'm A-OK, and I think I have my head on straight. Right. So if I'm straight, then I would love to help whoever it is that's trying to live. and let's go ahead and get you healthy as quick as we can.
I love it. The next stoop set is June 14th. I'm telling you now. I'm telling you now.
Said it on record.
June 14th. Yeah, because I'm going on the trauma retreat. You know what I mean? Shout out to trauma. I know. Yeah, but no. We going on the trauma retreat from the 5th to the 9th.
My schedule
Wait, wow, what date was it before?
I was going to do it on the 7th.
Oh, okay.
Because I turned 50 on the 8th.
Oh, you're a Gemini?
I'm a Gemini.
I'm a Gemini.
Yeah, when's your birthday?
June 19th.
See?
Yeah.
See? So I turned 50 on June 8th. So I was going to do it on June 7th, but I'm going to go on the trauma retreat. Shout out to DJ Trauma. And that's from the 5th to the 9th, and then we're going to do it on the 14th.
Oh, that's
you need to go on the trauma retreat, B.
Wait, hold up. I got a question.
Yeah.
Can I stand on the stoop?
Of course you can.
Oh, you get on the stoop. Yo, I get to stand on the stoop.
You get to stand on the stoop. Whoever's performing, because I'm already talking to Stretch Armstrong and some people about we trying to see who we gonna get to perform. But it's gonna be nice. It's gonna be a thing.
I see Stretch in the hood.
Oh yeah, Stretch live on Jefferson.
Yeah,
I should have said that. My bad. He live in Best Style. Don't worry about where he live. But yeah.
But I be seeing Stretch and Mick. You know Mick from Cleveland.
Mick.
Yeah,
I'm gonna tell you where Mick live after the thing.
Yeah. I be seeing him. And I'm like, yo.
I don't know if they really got a great.
Nah, come on. Nobody want to see the kicks again.
Well, she just want to see the fires.
Right, she want to see the fires. So she trolling for likes. All right, we see y'all next week. Are we on next week? We on next week.
Yes.
I'll be back. We on next week. We'll see you next week. I'm going to have a 10. See, Kai ain't come back with a 10. I'm going to come back with a 10, though. You know what I mean? We out.